Welcome to the Brown Theater. Please take a moment to locate your nearest available exit from the theater. These are located to the left, right, and rear of the stage. In the event of an emergency, ushers and staff will direct you along the appropriate evacuation route. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the performance.
One more round of applause. Good afternoon, and please be seated. Chief Justice Lambert, graduates, family and friends, faculty and staff, welcome to the Convocation Ceremony for the class of 2019. This is a momentous occasion. Let us please take a moment once more to give a big shout out and a big round of applause, the first of many, I hope, to the reason we're here, the class of 2019. That's right. If I can take a moment to identify members of the platform party, to my right is our commencement speaker, retired Chief Justice of the Kentucky Supreme Court, Joseph Lambert, a 1974 graduate of the School of Law. To his left is our Alumni Council President, Justin Fowles, a 2008 graduate of the School of Law. To my right, on the other side of the platform, is our Assistant Dean of Student Services, Jennifer DeSanza, the Student Bar Association President, Logan Wood, and the three members of the faculty chosen by the class of 2019 to hood the graduates, Professors Jamie Abrams, Les Abramson, and Luke Milligan. I'm Colin Crawford, the Dean of the Brandeis School of Law, and it's a great honor to lead this institution and know that you share my pride in these amazing graduates. At this time, let me take a moment to introduce as well the distinguished faculty of the University of Louisville's School of Law. And as I introduce each faculty member, I'd ask that that they be stand and recognized, but that the audience hold your applause until all faculty members have been recognized. So, and we go in alphabetical order. Jamie Abrams, Les Abramson, Tony Arnold, Tom Blackburn, Scott Campbell. He's here. He'd stand up. Oh, you're behind me. I see. That's tricky. David Ensign, Grace Giesel, Aaron Gow, Tim Hall, Robin Harris, Will Hilliard, Karen Jordan, Ariana Levinson, Sam Markison, Laura McNeil is not here. Oh, she is. Sorry, I didn't see you in the room before. My apologies. Laura McNeil, Luke Milligan, Lisa Nicholson, Laura Rothstein, Shelley Santry, Justin Walker, and Manning Warren. Now, those of you who know our faculty may note an absence, and I refer to our colleague Rick Noka. Professor Noka is not here today because he has begun a well-deserved retirement. After 40 years on the School of Law faculty, Professor Noka retired this spring. He likely taught many of the alumni in the audience secured transactions and other courses, and is remembered for his legal expertise, his rigor in the classroom, his warm and collegial nature, and his dedication to his students. Please join me in a round of applause for our faculty, including the absent Professor Noka. Your programs note some of the very noteworthy achievements of some of the members of the class of 2019. But there are many, many other achievements of this class, individually and as a group. Everyone in this room should be exceedingly proud to be a member of this class or to be a friend or family member of someone here. And I'd just like to share some of the exceptional facts about this quite extraordinary class. There are 102 members of the class, and they came to us already having accomplished quite a lot. A number of them already hold advanced degrees. They have, but amongst them, 30 undergraduate degrees from 30 different major areas and from 35 different institutions. 12 of them hold advanced degrees from 8 different institutions. 10 of them served in various branches of the military all over the globe. Some members of the class are single, some are not, some have children, some have many children, if you can imagine that, while attending law school, some have none. Some had children during law school or indeed got married, and in fact, I learned earlier that I believe our SBA president is, as of yesterday, soon to be married, yes, so carrying on that tradition. The class of 2019 comprises graduates from 35 towns across the Commonwealth and from 7 states. In short, this Brandeis class, and in addition, this class of 2019 performed, listen to these numbers, 7,536 hours of public service. That is an average of about 70 hours per student. One member of the class alone devoted 1,005.5 hours to public service. And this is a real testament to what our school is trying to achieve. There are 47 members of this class graduating with honors, 24 of them cum laude, 20 magna cum laude, and 3 of them will graduate summa cum laude. So congratulations to all of them. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you the Student Bar Association President, Logan Wood, who will be presenting remarks on the class on behalf of the class of 2019. Logan holds a bachelor's degree in political science from the University of Louisville. She worked while in law school at the Thomas Law Offices and will continue to work there in civil litigation after law school. She's been a very, very active student member of the law school on the workers' compensation moot court team. She published with our Journal of Animal Environmental Law and has been active in the Student Bar Association in various roles throughout her tenure prior to becoming president this last year, and has worked as a research assistant for Professor Justin Walker and Professor Tony Arnold. Now, I mention all of these things because they are special about Logan, but they also speak to the incredible dedication and energy that so many of the people on this stage bring to their work. I'm pleased to say that that very impressive profile of Logan that I've just shared with you is very typical for the members of this class. In short, she typifies much of what makes our graduates stand out when I compare them to their peers elsewhere. Constantly juggling the demands of school, scholarship, work, and service. So thank you to Logan and to all of this class for your service and your dedication to making the University of Louisville School of Law a great place to learn. And so congratulations to you.
Thank you, Dean Crawford. Good evening, graduates, faculty, Judge Lambert, family, friends, administrators, bartenders, and therapists. Today is the culmination of 3 long years of hard work, dedication, and desire. I want to start by thanking all of the supportive family and friends that have been along for the ride that is law school. Thank you for your love, patience, encouragement, and understanding. With your support, each person in our class has reached the milestone that we are celebrating today. Our journey would have been much more difficult, if not impossible to complete, without you. And to the supportive law school administration and faculty, we are truly indebted to you. Literally, I'll be paying my law school loans for quite some time. To my fellow graduates, I want to reflect on our last 3 years at Brandeis. Let's go back to 2016, a year some of us may not like to think about, when we were bright-eyed, bushy-tailed first-year law students. I remember the summer leading up to law school and the anxiousness surrounding it, but also the excitement to take on one of the toughest academic endeavors. That excitement quickly dissipated with our first cold call experience during orientation. We were assigned a case to read that was like reading gibberish. Professor Abrams was leading the class, and while she was very nice, none of us wanted to look at her. Everyone just looked down at our notes that were also in gibberish, hoping we wouldn't be the one to get called on. And then we heard Seth Gray. And relief fell over the room for everyone, except Seth, of course. So shout out to Seth for taking that first bullet. Yeah. While there was relief in that moment, that first year was the scariest year of my academic career, by far, as I'm sure we could all attest. Countless hours of reading, arguing with your study group, dissecting cases one word at a time, networking, crying, definitely not sleeping, trying to figure out how the law school's heating and cooling system worked, stress eating Papa John's pizza, worrying about whether the lights were going to stay on after the Graumeyer scandal. And did I say crying? It was a brutal year, but it was also when I came to know the class of 2019 as family. While we came from different backgrounds and had different interests, we were all united by our mission to get through that first year. I know we all have a story of a fellow classmate talking you off a ledge after one of Professor Markison's exams, giving a compliment on your appearance when you know you look malnourished and exhausted from studying, lending a hand when you've missed a class, celebrating that new job with a drink or two, cooking for Professor Abramson's potluck the day before a final, and attending multiple drunken sailor concerts. Not because you particularly love pirate music, but because you want to support your friend. No offense, Andrew. These things are what make our class special, one with compassion and heart. And if you would have asked me if our class was going to make it, in true lawyer fashion, I would have said, it depends. That brings me to our second year. They say that is the year where they work you to death, and truer words have never been spoken. This was the year we had to prove ourselves. We were no longer the fresh-faced first years. We were ambitious second years that were ready to take over the law school. We competed on moot court teams, took on leadership roles, and to be honest, we flat out hustled because we were juggling a job, a family, classes, and endless readings. Professor Levinson, specifically, on the many exceptions to hearsay. I mean, a rule with so many exceptions just really shouldn't be a rule. When we weren't reading or studying, we did manage to have some fun. Our Halloween party, Decedents, that year featured high-quality group costumes. My personal favorite was the group that dressed up as those involved in the Adidas scandal. We also attended more pirate concerts, birthday parties, and some of you may remember the great flood of 2018, when we needed a boat to get to and from Barrister's Ball. All joking aside, 2L year was challenging and long. Our last and final year was filled with procrastination, meetings with Professor Jordan, Facebook fights with U of L parking, crafting legal pun volleyball team names, shout out to Professor Santry for a crowd favorite, Daily Block It, and Professor Arnold's equitable servitudes. Who knew property could be funny? We complained about ambitious 2Ls and led all of the law school organizations. But it wasn't filled with Papa John's pizza, because as you guessed it, another scandal. But I digress. While the course load was lighter for some, that came with the added burden of figuring out what the next chapter of our life would look like after law school. And it's hard to grasp that that next chapter begins today. Many moments in our 3 years at Brandeis were hallmarked by conflict, transition, upheaval, and adversity, whether in the political realm, the university community, or the law school. We had every excuse to put our head down and be selfish, but we took each and every hardship in stride and modeled for others how to be a compassionate community. We focused on building each other up instead of tearing each other down, and that is what I know we will continue to do as lawyers. I'm overcome with excitement to see what is in store for the class of 2019 because the opportunities are endless. I know I'm looking at future judges, politicians, public defenders and prosecutors, CEOs, general counsels, entrepreneurs, and we probably have a few heavy hitters amongst us as well. But in all seriousness, today is a celebration of a lifelong dream to graduate from law school. And in just a few minutes, that dream becomes a reality, and we will be Brandeis graduates. And Brandeis, to me, is all of you, the class of 2019. Thank you for an experience that has been unlike any other. Congratulations, we did it.
Thank you very much, Logan. It's now a pleasure of mine to be able to introduce to you retired Chief Justice of the Kentucky Supreme Court, Joseph Lambert, who is our speaker for the 2019 Brandeis School of Law Convocation. Joseph Lambert was elected to the Supreme Court of Kentucky in 1986 for the first time. In 1998, he became the Commonwealth's fourth Chief Justice by a majority vote of his fellow justices. He was subsequently elected to two additional four-year terms as chief, and after a decade as Chief Justice and 22 years as a Justice of the Supreme Court, he retired in June of 2008. On that date, he joined the Senior Judge Program and was appointed Chief Senior Judge by the then Chief Justice and served in that role until 2012. During his tenure, Justice Lambert's career was marked by many achievements, including the implementation of cutting-edge programs in the implementation of technology, court records, judicial education, rearrangement of court facilities and pretrial services, the promotion of family and drug courts and special services for women in the courts. In 2002, he helped usher in the passage of an amendment that made family court a permanent part of the Kentucky Constitution. And a project of special for which I have special admiration is that he founded the Kentucky Legal Education Opportunities Program, known as CLEO. Many Louisville law students have participated in this summer program, as have students from the other schools in the Commonwealth, a program that helps prepare students from underrepresented and low-income populations for the rigors of law school. The roster of participants in the CLEO program already represents some of the leaders of the bar of this Commonwealth and stands as a real testament to the work of Justice Lambert and his peers. And you will find in your program additional details on his very distinguished career. With that, please join me in giving a warm University of Louisville Law welcome to Chief Justice Joseph Lambert.
Members of the graduating class, distinguished faculty, proud families. Before I say more, I would like to say that I enjoyed the remarks you just heard from Ms. Wood. As I was listening to her, I thought I should give my time over to her and just let her keep on telling law school stories because it was very interesting. And I saw her classmates smiling and nodding approval as she told one anecdote after another. You know, Dean Crawford is a very thoughtful fellow. He sent me a message a few days ago thoughtfully reminding me, that about 10 minutes is the proper duration. Thoughtfully reminding me that about 10 minutes is about right for my speech today. I appreciated that reminder, and I'm going to do my best to observe the reminder that Dean Crawford gave me. It's a great pleasure for me to be in Louisville again. Even though I'm not from the city of Louisville, if I have a second home in Kentucky, this is certainly it. I always enjoy coming here, and I truly enjoy going to the law school and also, of course, to university functions. It's a great honor for me to have an opportunity to participate in this event honoring these recent graduates. Whenever I visit a law school, I'm reminded how rapidly the years have passed since my own graduation. I confess to a bit of envy as I look at these young men and women today and also think of the interesting years they have ahead of them. I'm also reminded that many of my very closest friends to this very day, both professionally and socially, are friends I made while I was in law school. I say to our graduates now, keep your law school friends close. When trying times come, and they will, old friends who happen also to be talented lawyers are wonderful to have around. One of the privileges I had as Chief Justice was to meet many new law school graduates and young lawyers. I worked closely with those who were Supreme Court law clerks. Whenever we had new law clerks coming to the court, there was always a pleasant sense of anticipation that those young men and women would bring a new level of enthusiasm and possibly improve the attitudes of some of us who needed an attitude adjustment. I'm always impressed that young lawyers are so eager to contribute, to get involved, and to make a difference. It's an honor for me to have a part in this extraordinary day in your lives. With the exception of your wedding day and the day your child is born, perhaps no occasion will be more meaningful than this day of law school graduation. Platitudes come easy on an occasion such as this, but I'll attempt to restrain myself. But if you will, however, permit me to say that no profession has had a more profound impact on the formation and preservation of our nation and our way of life than has the law. And now you're part of it. We're in the early years of a new century, and there are many new ideas and tools available for the improvement of justice in America. It's regrettable, but a lot of our new thinking is about the role of courts and the legal profession has been born out of a crisis in confidence in our institutions. Traditionally, lawyers and judges haven't been too concerned about issues of public trust and confidence. We merely assumed that our offices and our authority assured public acceptance. But a lot's changed in recent years. We live in a cynical nation, and no longer do the trappings of our institutions guarantee the acceptance of our work. A recent study by the Hearst Corporation and the National Center for State Courts make the point that we must learn to better communicate the nature and the importance of our work. It's paradoxical, it seems, that at a time when popular culture is saturated with law-based entertainment, that we must work so hard to make sure the real nature of our work is understood and valued by our society. Hardly an evening of television passes without a lawyer or judge show. But despite the exposure, I doubt that the public has much more of an understanding of the significance of the rule of law than it's always had. I suspect that many of our fellow citizens wonder why real courts get so hung up on mere technicalities and why we don't just cut to the chase like they do on television. Our challenge is clear. We have to make sure that the public understands that courts provide more than primetime drama, that lawyers and courts protect fundamental liberties and keep this society orderly and free. I've spoken of improving public trust in our institutions, but it is with that understanding that it is also with the understanding that better communication is not enough. We must understand that we, as lawyers and judges, are in the public service business. While the adversarial system of justice remains vital to the administration of justice, many across this nation now realize that our institutions can and should do more. Consider an example. The prosecutor may think that the case is over when the conviction has been obtained and the defendant is sent off to jail. Of course, this ignores the fact that we don't have enough jails for housing, that the cost is extraordinary, that there is usually no treatment program to deal with the drug problems that cause so many criminal episodes, and that the defendant will soon be released where he is likely to commit one or more additional offenses. Likewise, when defense counsel or the public defender wins on a motion to suppress or a not guilty jury verdict, he thinks he's won, or she thinks she's won. But this too ignores the reality of drug addiction, family violence, poor education, language barriers, inadequate job skills, and the probability that a subsequent offense will be committed. There is now a definite trend in the direction of therapeutic justice, a concept whereby courts and lawyers take a broader view of their responsibility and undertake a role in problem solving, not simply deciding short-term winners and losers. One of the prominent examples of this new thinking is family court, still relatively new in Kentucky, whereby judges proactively engage in problem solving and extensively use helping professionals in an effort to prevent or minimize a myriad of problems that families encounter. In Kentucky, we have made a major commitment to family courts, and at present, most Kentucky counties have a family court. In November of 2002, a constitutional amendment was adopted to firmly establish family courts in Kentucky. I believe the success of family courts has been proven. Soon, I hope that there will be a family court in every judicial circuit in Kentucky. But at this point, that still hasn't happened. Another innovation in widespread use is drug courts. Drug courts proceed from the idea that direct judicial involvement in the process of testing, supervising, counseling, and punishing drug offenders with the promise of dismissal on the completion of a rigorous diversion program may be a desirable alternative to incarceration. While drug courts recognize that some offenders should be incarcerated, they also recognize that some should not. The drug court concept is undergoing constant revision and refinement, and it's being adapted to use, and the concept is being adapted to use in a variety of other situations that come before Kentucky courts. Many believe the drug court model provides an important form that can be applied more broadly than just to drug offenses, but to a variety of other offenses. A persistent problem faced by legal institutions is the underrepresentation of minority citizens. This fact has created an atmosphere in which many minority citizens have a high level of distrust in our institutions. We cannot fail to address this challenge, for failure to do so perpetuates division and distrust and undermines any success that we may have in other areas of court improvement. Simply stated, we need more minority lawyers and judges if our national goal of equal justice under law is to be achieved. We cringe at each new report of school gun violence and ask what we can do to stop it. I wonder what role or whether courts can have a role in addressing this intractable issue. We must endeavor to see that access to justice is not denied because of cost. We must maintain legal professionalism, provide adequate funding for courts, and address the special needs of those who are mentally and physically disabled, elderly, homeless, and victims of domestic violence. We must see to it that children We must see to it that children who are collateral victims are provided for and that they are not condemned to grow up to be dysfunctional adults. In sum, we must discover new ways to address the ills of our society and maintain the substantive foundations of our profession in a world that desperately needs innovative solutions. The task before us is not easy and not for the short-winded, but a lot of talented people are applying themselves to it. With each innovation and each experiment, courts are learning more about the power of active, creative problem solving. It's now your time to make your contribution. In the American classic, The Great Gatsby, Fitzgerald opens the story with the following line: "Just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had." For most of you who are graduating today, recent years have been devoted to undergraduate school and law school. During that time, you've had the opportunity to study at fine colleges and universities under the guidance of teachers who were well qualified and dedicated to your educational achievement. But most of all, you have had time to think, study, and learn. Think about it. You've been given the greatest of all gifts, the gift of time, and I trust you have used it wisely. Now, another time has come. Your chosen profession is facing many challenges, and your knowledge, intellect, and enthusiasm are needed in the quest for answers and solutions. You must also undertake the very real responsibilities of self-support, debt repayment, and for many, the support of others. But in the process of getting your professional and personal lives in order, don't forget the big picture. You have now entered the profession of Adams, Jefferson, and Lincoln. You follow in the footsteps of Robert H. Jackson and Thurgood Marshall. From this nation's beginnings, lawyers have authored and given meaning to our founding principle, the rule of law. For more than 200 years, this nation has engaged in a dialogue, in a debate, and sometimes in a shouting match as to the application of the rule of law to cases with specific real-life consequences. At this very moment in time, a shouting match is going on. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to spend my professional life in the law, and I now welcome you to our profession and hope that you will have an exciting and rewarding career. Almost 100 years ago, the great Benjamin Cardozo, whom you will remember, I'm sure, as the author of the majority opinion in Paul's Graph versus Long Island Railroad, spoke to a law graduating class at the Albany Law School. With unparalleled eloquence, he told those new law graduates of the game of the law and its prizes. He concluded his address with these words: "This is no life of cloistered ease to which you dedicate your powers. This is a life that touches your fellow men at every angle of their being, a life that you must live in the crowd and yet apart from it, a man of the world and philosopher by turns." And so it is with you who now begin your careers as lawyers. Study the wisdom of the past, search for the trail that has already been blazed, study the life of mankind, for it is these lives that you must help to wisely order, and study the precepts of justice, which will prevail through you. I'm confident that your law school education has prepared you for your chosen profession and for a life of service to your fellow men. May all of you find the law to be a rewarding profession. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice Lambert. And I think it's fair to say, as he said, it's easy to offer platitudes in this sort of circumstance, and his address was the opposite of that. Thank you very much for those very thoughtful, helpful remarks and the guidance for our class. And as a small token of our appreciation, we have a clock that I'd like to present to you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
And we actually have a surprise that the Chief Justice himself does not know about. As you can see, we take special pride in the fact that that graduates of our law school are members of our courts, including the Supreme Court and including a former Chief Justice of the court. And so I want to take this opportunity to announce an event that will take place at the School of Law in the fall of 2019. There are two official copies of the official portrait of Chief Justice Lambert and of all Chief Justices of the court. One of them hangs in the State Capitol building in Frankfurt. But there's another copy of that portrait, and through the offices of our graduate and one of Justice Lambert's proteges, State Representative Jason Nemes, the second portrait will hang in the School of Law. In fact, it will be in a spot that will have Justice Lambert's portrait looking at the portrait of his late friend and longtime colleague, Justice William McAnulty, also a Louisville law graduate. And I'm going to take this opportunity to unveil the portrait so you all can see it. Now we'll proceed to the hooding ceremony and awards recognition. As I mentioned at the outset of my remarks, 3 faculty members have been chosen by the class to participate in the hooding, namely Professors Jamie Abrams, Professor Les Abramson, and Professor Luke Milligan, and they will now stand. I might add that the hood that we use in U.S. graduations takes today, you may wonder what is the origin of these curious costumes. They date back to medieval times, and the colors indicate both the field and the highest degree. So the tassels that the graduates have, the purple denotes law, the red and black lining, it should need no explaining here in Louisville, represents the colors of the university, and therefore the costumes themselves are expressions of our pride in the degree of Juris Doctor that we are today bestowing upon the graduate. At the moment of the hooding, the draping of the hood is meant to symbolically represent the award of the degree. So with that, will the first round of graduates please come forward and line up? And I might add that this first group constitutes some of our award recipients. And to the graduates, please hand your name to Dean DeSanza and wait for her to call your name before walking across the stage to receive your hood.
Logan Mariah Wood, cum laude, SBA President. Anna Nicole Anthony, magna cum laude. Kyle Thomas Berry. Bethany Grace Beal, magna cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Articles Editor. Tabitha Dawn Buchanan, magna cum laude, Brandeis Outstanding Graduating Student and Journal of Animal and Environmental Law Developmental Editor. Christine Sadayo Calaxon, magna cum laude. Macaulay Jane Campbell, cum laude. Madison Capps. Dustin Michael Carey. Candace Kalo, magna cum laude, SBA ABA rep, with her daughter Jada Dempsey, who's 9 years old. Ilya Chernovsky. Christine Marie Clark, magna cum laude, Moot Court Board President. Jonathan W. Courtney, cum laude. Kayla Nicole Combs, Journal of Animal and Environmental Law, Senior Notes Editor. LaQuasia Denisha Combs, cum laude, Journal of Law and Education Editor-in-Chief, Moot Court Board Vice President of Internal Competitions. Warren Douglas Combs. William Charles Dwyer. Colin Doan Edmondson. Jacob Eldemeyer Smith, magna cum laude. Audrey Lorraine Ernstberger. Ibrahim Farag. Jesse Allen Farler, cum laude, Journal of Animal and Environmental Law Associate Editor. Antonio Rafael Fernandez. Amanda Hope Furl. Lloyd Franklin Fowler, magna cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Notes Editor. Tammy Renee Fraley. Lauren Freeman, cum laude, Journal of Animal and Environmental Law, Editor-in-Chief. Logan Sorrell Fugate. Seth Davis Gray. Katrina Gross. Jacqueline Ha, magna cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review, Articles Editor, SBA 3L Class Rep. Jason Hagee. Christopher Evan Hall. Danielle Nicole Hampton, cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Associate Symposium Editor. William Elliott Happel, cum laude. Clayton Zachary Harris. Joseph Michael Harris, Jr. Calicia Shanice Henson, cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Articles Selection Editor. Tanner Ryan Hollinger. Patrick Hughes. Taylor Michelle Ichinose, magna cum laude, University of Louisville Senior Notes Editor. Elizabeth Porter Irish. Natalie Suzanne Johnson, cum laude. Miriam Calhoun, SBA Public Service Chair with her son Caden, who's 8 years old. Shannon Marie Keene. Kylie Alexandra King, magna cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Executive Symposium Editor. Sarah Melissa Klein with her daughter Zoe Ellen Klein, who's 4 years old. Andrew Joseph Klump, cum laude. Thompson Leonard, Journal of Animal and Environmental Law Senior Editor. Emily A. Logan, Moot Court Board Vice President of Competitions. Stephen Brett Lowry, magna cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Articles Editor. Sue-Eng Lee, cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Notes Editor. Lauren Lynn Monet, cum laude. Brianna Rose Miller, magna cum laude. Ronnie Wayne Mills. Elizabeth Dean Mosley, summa cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Associate Symposium Editor. Alexander Mulhall, cum laude, Journal of Animal and Environmental Law Notes Editor. Miles David Mussetter. Kelsey Lynn Noel. Virginia Grace Parnell. Lucas McCoy Patrick. Elizabeth Gaines Penn, summa cum laude, class of 2019 valedictorian, and University of Louisville Law Review Editor-in-Chief. On Thursday, August 11th, 2016, in Bigelow Hall on our Belknap campus, the entering first-year class signed the Brandeis School of Law oath, swearing to uphold the School of Law's Honor Code and U of L's Student Conduct Code. Judge Charles M. Simpson III, U.S. Court of the Western District of Kentucky, spoke and assisted in administering the oath. The signed oath was framed and hung in the hallway on the second floor of the law school during these graduates' 3 years of law school. The occasion marks the students' entry into the legal profession. You may have seen it next to the big composite when you walked in the lobby. It is now fitting to present the oath to Elizabeth as the valedictorian for the class of 2019. Samuel Rocky, cum laude. Juliana Rezick, Journal of Animal and Environmental Law Executive Editor. Randall Scott Roof, cum laude, Journal of Law and Education, Subject Matter Editor, Moot Court Board Vice President of Administration. Steele Isaac Rouse, Journal of Law and Education Notes Editor. Brandon Rudolph. Michael Anthony Shea, Journal of Law and Education, Subject Matter Editor. Thomas Glenn Schifano. Chad A. Schlotzhauer, with his son Mason Schlotzhauer, who's 3 years old. Erin Marie Shaughnessy, magna cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Senior Articles Editor. Erica Lynn Sherrard, with her children Tyler Hunt, 13, Christian Sherrard, 8, and Colton Sherrard, 3. John Saida, cum laude. Matthew Jared Siegler, cum laude. Margaret Seitz. Andrew Skomarowski. Kirk Smith, magna cum laude. Samantha Smith. Eric Francis Spagnolo, magna cum laude. Annalie Ellen Stallings, magna cum laude, with her children Amelia, age 11, and James, age 8. Irina Strelkova, magna cum laude, Journal of Animal and Environmental Law Senior Articles Editor. Samantha Brooks Sullivan, magna cum laude. Julianne Tackett, University of Louisville Law Review Notes Editor, with her daughter, Ella Tackett, age 9. Corey Matthew Thomas, magna cum laude, University of Louisville Law Review Associate Symposium Editor, SBA Executive Vice President. Shannon Elise Tubbs, cum laude. Abigail Lee Tudor, SBA 3L class rep. Brendan Turley with his children, Brock Turley, age 6, and Ada Lynn Turley, age 4. Catherine Marie Waller, cum laude, SBA fundraising chair. Andrea Wamba, magna cum laude. Emily Rosalina Wessel, SBA VP of Finance. Andrew Horton Wilhoit, cum laude. Andrew J. Williams. Sydney Brooks Winninger. David R. Willems. Samantha Wright, cum laude, SBA Diversity Chair with her son Sky, who's 8, and Emery, who's 6. And last but not least, Christopher Zelli, summa cum laude, Law Review Managing Editor.
And hey, we're only here once. How about one more big round of applause for all of them? My next pleasure is to introduce to you a 2008 graduate and the outgoing president of our Law Alumni Council and currently a member of the firm of Frost Brown Todd, Justin Fowles. And I would be remiss if I didn't use this occasion to thank him for his exceptional leadership this past year of the Law Alumni Council. It's just been an exceptional pleasure to be able to work with someone of Justin's energy and vision in leading the Law Alumni Council. So I give you Justin Fowles.
On behalf of your fellow alumni, it is my great honor to be among the first to congratulate you on graduation from the University of Louisville, Brandeis School of Law. After years of intellectual hazing by your professors, you have now graduated into exclusive fraternity consisting of many distinguished attorneys, including Justice Joseph Lambert, who you've heard all about, but who also is directly responsible for the construction of many of the beautiful courthouses that you'll be entering into to practice law that will be standing long after all of us are gone. Senator Christopher Dodd, U.S. Senator for Connecticut. He was a 5-term senator responsible for the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform Act. Lucy Lee Helm, General Counsel of Starbucks, who led the legal group at Starbucks for many years of unprecedented success, where the number of stores increased 33% and went to dozens and dozens of countries. The first African-American Kentucky Supreme Court Justice, who you've heard about today, Justice William McAnulty, Judge Denise Clayton, the first African-American woman on the Kentucky Court of Appeals, and Judge Janice Martin, the first African-American woman to serve on the judiciary in Kentucky. And there's many other senators, judges, members of Congress, mayors, news personalities, attorneys, personal injury attorneys, business people, other distinguished members of the bar that you'll be joining today. Now, what does it mean to join this fraternity? Well, after today, you will have transformed. You will transform from the children that your parents out here in the crowd waited with on your first day of school, so long ago. You have transformed from the goofy guy that somehow was able to convince that girl to go out with him on a date, and then that girl helped him through law school emotionally and maybe financially. I'm sure she's out there. And you'll be transformed from the kid that would get wild with his friends on Thursday nights and Friday nights and Saturday nights and maybe part of Sunday. But tomorrow, as a graduate of the University School of Law, the University of Louisville School of Law, you'll be transformed into a person who is trusted with the honor, privilege, and quite honestly, heavy burden of helping people on the worst days of their lives. Nobody comes to lawyers for fun. I like to say that a lot, but it's true. The same children who all of you sat with at the bus stop years and years ago, tomorrow and in the coming days will be trusted by the wrongfully accused to defend them and be their only barrier between freedom and imprisonment. The same goofy guy who could barely get a date and is being helped out by his significant others will now join his fellow alumni on the front lines of the battle against racism, bigotry, fear, and hate in civil rights battles. The same person who could party every single night of the week with friends, and I hope they'll dial it back, I know there's a couple of you, I'm sure, will now be trusted as the only person to keep a business afloat during a bet the company litigation, maintaining the livelihood of hundreds of employees. I'm proud to be here with you on this day of celebration and transformation, and you'll transform to whatever you'll transform it into, and I'm looking forward to that exciting process. But for today, you've transformed into something I'm most proud of, and that is a fellow alumni of the University of Louisville Brandeis School of Law. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Justin. So graduates, for many of you, the love and support of your friends and family, of course, made this possible. And now I'd like to take this opportunity to address them, to address you, family and friends. Because you have one more task to assist this group on their path to success. It's a little bit of bad news, but it's very brief. You've supported the members of them through hard work and many sleepless nights, times of self-doubt and jubilation. But they need your understanding and care for another 10 weeks. I'm speaking of the bar exam. It takes place at the end of July. It is a rough road. It's a rough, tough 10 weeks. It's a difficult exam, and it's a significant hurdle. Preparing for the exam requires steady and focused effort, so I plead to all of you and thank you for your patience and assistance going ahead. You've been there for them for these 3 or sometimes 4 years, and I trust that you will continue to support them as they prepare for the exam. Help them to focus over the next several weeks, provide them food, leave them alone to study, and then at the end of it all, you can take a break with the hope of success on the horizon. I'd also like to thank all of you, to ask the families and friends of all of you, the spouses and partners, the children, the parents and grandparents, and anyone else who supported them. Please stand so that all of them can take this opportunity to give you a round of applause. Please stand. Thank you very much. And now it's time to offer one more round of congratulations to this class. As you've seen, the members of this class possess an incredible amount of intelligence, passion, creativity, and grit. I admire the way they've balanced all of the demands I referred to earlier, from classwork to activities to public service to jobs, not to mention the personal responsibilities many of them carry, some of whom we saw walk across the stage with them today. And I also then look forward to working with you as you transition to alumni and fellow attorneys. And I've done it once, I've done it a second and third time, but it's one of the great pleasures of this event. Let's give them one more round of applause. And a final request to all of you in the audience. We will soon begin the recessional. Please remain in your seats until the recessional has been completed. And thank you all once again for your presence here today.